Audiences are the most powerful tool that the brands have on their side that they can control. This is a way to give the capacity to these marketing channels to execute everything end to end without any action from the brand.
What's the worst case scenario what helps when it comes to scaling by just using broad targeting? Hello and welcome to another episode of the E-commerce Coffee Break podcast. Meta ads are getting harder and more expensive to scale. And while many brands are putting more money into broad targeting, there may be a smarter way to find customers who are most likely to buy from you. That's where AI and first-party data comes into play. To find out how you can improve your ad performance without spending more, I'm joined by Tiago Costa, CEO of Clustie AI. Tiago is a performance marketing and technology leader with deep experience helping e-commerce brands use data and AI to improve customer acquisition. Tiago, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Klaus. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Let's jump right into it. Broad targeting is getting a lot of attention right now. Why is everyone saying audiences don't matter anymore?
We hear it every day. So it's a narrative that performance marketing gurus and Meta, Google somehow are selling. But at the same time, it's tricky because audiences are the most powerful tool that the brands have on their side that they can control. So we have two things here. So one thing is if we look into Meta channel, Google channel in the last 2-3 years, we can see a clear evolution through fully automated processes. So using AI, Advantage Plus, so Meta managing everything that the brands are injecting on their channels. So in this case, Meta and Google, and at the same time, reducing the capabilities to use first-party audiences on these kind of channels. So this is happening. However, this is still possible. And what we can see with our clients today is that by using first-party audiences on their ads and by looking for people that are similar to their best DNA customers, we are able to increase the results directly. So this is, of course, this is something that is being sold. So this narrative, the audiences are over, signals are the new thing. But if we look a bit deeper on this, what we see is that this is a way to give the capacity to these marketing channels to execute everything end to end without any action from the brand. So on a perspective of being really effective in terms of time, it sounds good. On the perspective of the brand to understand where they are burning money on these channels, right, it's terrible. Okay, because if you inject €100 or $100 daily on a marketing campaign, you want to understand how's the budget being spent. And if you are giving full capacity to the platform to decide it, you won't be aware on what to do next, on where you are having good results, where you are having bad results. So this kind of solution that we offer, really focused on audiences, is giving the client the capacity to use his most strong assets on his marketing campaigns. So on one side, we need to be aware of the changes that the market is having. And of course, signals are super important in terms of data quantity. If we look into signals and if we look into first-party data, signals are much larger. So we have much more information because we have add to carts, page views, a lot of abandoned carts, for example. So a lot of things that we don't need to look into the user. So we don't look to you to look into a specific person. We can look into behavior. So in terms of data quantity, signals are much larger, but in terms of effectiveness, audiences are super effective. So, and this is what we are seeing since we launched Clustie, is that we create a campaign on the marketing side of our clients' Meta account, and we are immediately generating more sales at a lower cost.
Mm-hmm. Now, makes perfect sense. Me being a digital marketer and having spent millions on Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth, when that change came, it's like you lose the control over your audiences. I was like, okay, I'm just throwing money into a black hole and hope for the best. So that leaves a little bit of a bitter taste. And I think right now, a lot of marketers out there, brands out there have the same feeling. Now, before we dive into where you help, what's the worst case scenario what helps when it comes to scaling by just using broad targeting?
Yeah, the worst case scenario is that you will be spending money. The customer acquisition cost will be rising. The return on ad spend will be reducing every day because If you generate some sales, you have the immediate decision of increasing the budget. Once you increase the budget, the results start to come down, and you just repeat the process, and you are spending money and you don't know exactly what to do. So you contract a different marketing guy, or you change your marketing agency to see if the other marketing agency performs better. But in the end, it's not about your marketing team, it's not about your marketing agency, it's about the way you look into your data, into your house, to understand what's your ideal customer, what they want to buy, and target your campaigns to your customers. So this is the way that you can optimize a bad scenario of being investing on something that is not working.
Mm-hmm. Now, Clustie AI is doing exactly that, building your targeting audiences, and you can just have a better result at the end of the day. Talk me through it. How does it work?
Yeah, so Clustie AI is a result of a couple of years of experiences. So we started as an AI marketing agency doing this kind of AI marketing segmentation for e-commerce brands. We were not focused on Meta or Google or TikTok. We were not focused on Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, Salesforce. We were working broadly. So if you were an e-commerce brand, you wanted to have a higher ROAS using our audience intelligence, we would do the work for you. And we were complementary to your marketing agency, your marketing team, and we work as a whole with all of them. So your internal team, your marketing agency, and our company. So we were a service company, a kind of an agency. Recently, we evolved our solution, also using AI capabilities, and we developed this product, Clustie AI, that is a simple tool fully focused on two major channels. So one is Shopify. We are connected with Shopify. We are today present on Shopify App Store, already with a 5-star average rating on the platform, with dozens of reviews right now. And we are connected also with Meta. So fully focused in between Shopify and Meta. And the idea of Clustie is super simple: to be installed on the Shopify tech stack of the brands, to be connected with the Meta ad account, and to reduce the CPA of our customer using audience intelligence. This audience intelligence is generating different segments. We are showing inside our Clustie app to our user which kind of segments we are generating and which kind of customers you have inside each segment. And we are integrating this segmentation on the meta campaigns from our customers. Fully automated, super simple, everything from our app. So imagine that you are a brand, you have an e-commerce shop, and you are spending more than $2,000 in meta ads monthly. You could install Clustie, you could connect Clustie with Shopify and Meta, and you could immediately integrate one of our audiences in one of your active campaigns, or create a new campaign with a single click. And what we are doing, we are using AI logic to read everything that you have active in Meta, understand what's the best performing assets and campaigns that you have, and create a super campaign with our audience. So this is what we have today. Clustie is a super simple product that came from an agency style company to a fully focused product company. That's what we are today, and we are looking for this scale in this space of reducing CPA in Meta channel.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you draw the data from Shopify and from Meta and get the best out of both worlds, which Meta couldn't do in the past and Shopify can't do on its own anyway. So if you're working on it today, and you mentioned signals before, what kind of signals really stick out and should you focus on?
We need to look into what happened recently and what might happen in the future. So if in a worst case scenario, audiences are effectively over, and Meta tells us, okay, you are not able to inject an audience anymore, that, to be honest, it's difficult to believe, because brands needs to have some capacity to invest in this platform. So Meta needs to give something to the brands that are investing a lot on their channels. But if this happens, we need to look into signals. So we are developing already, I would say, a new feature on our app. So on one side, you have Clustie audiences. On the other side, you have Clustie signals. It's a more broad targeting. But for example, something that we will be able to understand is that you have a remarketing campaign running on your Meta ads, and you are spending money every day on your remarketing campaign fully operated with Meta, with targeted by Meta, everything using the AI from the Meta channel with our signals capacity. So we will be reading everything that is happening on the website from our customer. We will be able to, for example, build exclusions on the remarketing campaign. So we will be able to give signals to the remarketing campaign and to extract the customers that we don't want to receive the campaign, that will just spend money to the brand. So these kind of signals is the way that we want to evolve our solution. So look at it as the next level of Clustie. Of course, that we will keep with the Clustie audiences, because to be honest, in terms of results, it's a no-brainer. And that's why we have 7 in 10 customers going from the free to paid, because we have a free trial of 30 days. And then the decision point of going to a paid customer or churning the trial. And we have 7 in 10 going to the paid version of the product. So audiences are a focus today. In terms of results, are super direct, super simple, and super clear to whom is spending money on Meta. At the same time, we want to add this capacity of doing different things, on helping the brands to go further, using these kind of signals to increase the result of the active campaigns that they already have running. So it's like having an hack to make their active campaigns even better, and to show everything, of course, in Clustie. Because in Clustie, one of the things that we have on our homepage, it's a banner on the top showing the lifetime value that Clustie already generated to the customer, even considering our fee. So this is a real focus that we have, because in the end we are an outcome based product. So we know that we will only have our clients with us if we are generating value to them. That's why we decided to embrace this and to show this on the main page of our solution, is that since you have Clustie installed, this is the profit that you have with our campaigns. So this is a really interesting focus, and at the same time it's a way to bring some gamification to our solution.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to a merchant is to see is like, what kind of results do I see? And everyone is obviously complaining about spending too much money on paid ads, and with very low conversion rates in DTC and very high ad spend, every number really counts in this game. Now, I want to talk a little bit on how the day-to-day looks like working with Clustie. Obviously, it's AI, but you have a certain control over it. How does that work? Who's working with Clustie in your team, and what does it look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So today, when you decide to run a trial from our product, you will have 30 days to experiment everything and to see how it goes and the results that it generates. And you will have a person from our customer success team following all this path. Okay. At the same time, we have AI capabilities on our solution that are able to manage, for example, budget allocation inside a Clustie campaign automatically. So if we see that we can increase the budget on one day and we need to reduce the budget on the other day, we don't need to be looking into the campaign, sending messages to the clients. No, we have an autopilot capacity that is doing this alone. Of course, that as a user, as a brand, you have the capacity to decide if you want the autopilot or not. So you have these capabilities, you have the results that the campaign is generating being shown in the app, and you have our customer success team following you. Of course, that we have different levels of users, of course, depending also on the tier that they are present. But in the end, we are seeing that today we have brands, and some of them big brands, already installing the app, putting the campaign in Meta Live, seeing the results without talking to our team. Of course, that we have processes that will send a message to schedule the first meeting, quick meeting, to introduce our team, to introduce us and the process, and how to use and how to extract the best value from Clustie. But we have cases where the customer replies us, so I'm okay. You are already generating money with the product. If I need something, I will send you a message. So we have these kind of clients. Of course, we have the kind of clients that we are doing, for example, bi-monthly 30 minutes call. It's good for us for customer feedback, because we are evolving the product a lot based on the user feedback that we are grabbing from all the users that are using Clustie. So it's important for us to keep this contact regularly with our clients. But in the end, what we want is that the client have all the autonomy to use Clustie alone. And the thing that we like more is when we see, for example, we have so today we arrived to the office and we saw that we had a brand that installed the app on the weekend, on Sunday. They launched the campaign. They created 2 different audiences alone by themselves, and they are generating money without talking with us. This is a signal that the app is working. People are understanding the value that we are delivering, and we have the conditions to scale. That's the most important thing in a startup, is to scale, and that's what we are trying to be focused now.
That makes perfect sense. And the flow is so easy to get it connected with Shopify, with Meta, and then it just starts working. Now, you mentioned you have bigger brands, but for smaller, medium enterprises, how much data do they need to have to get started?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So what we are seeing is that at least 3,000 active customers on the last 2 years.
Mhm.
It's the minimum quantity of customers that our users needs to have. Of course, that the most customers, the most orders they have, the better results they will have in the end. Because this is AI and we work with big data. So as much data we have, as better results that we are going to generate. But what we are seeing is that from 3,000 customers onwards, we are already able to generate our audiences, because this is the decision point. If you have, for example, 1,000 customers, active customers in the last 2 years, and you install Clustie, the first thing that we will do after connecting with a Shopify is trying to generate our high propensity buyers audience. If we are not capable of doing that, because you need to have a minimum quantity of users on that audience to be injected in Meta, because this is Meta restriction. If you are not capable of having this audience, we will send you a message directly. We'll see the message that you don't have data enough to run a Clustie campaign. So this is on the product. So, and as a user, if you are a small brand, you want to install, you want to test, you can do it. And you won't pay anything. You will just test if you are able to generate a high propensity buyers audience. If you are, you can proceed with the process and integrate the audience in Meta. Of course, that we have an ideal ICP. And from the ideal ICP, what we are seeing is more than 3,000 active users in the last 2 years minimum, and also an investment that varies in between $2,000 and $20,000 monthly invested in Meta. Of course, that we have a good spot also between 500 euros and 2,000 euros. Okay. But then we need to think that if you look into our pricing, we have a $99, $299, and $499, depending on the active customers that you have. But imagine a brand that is spending, I don't know, $500 monthly in Meta that needs to pay 300 monthly for a product like this. So in terms of ICP, we need to be connected with brands that are spending budget in Meta. So more than $2,000, they will be able to generate return immediately, much probably. Less than $2,000, they can try, they can see if they can optimize what they are doing, and maybe they can stay with us. We have some brands that are with us since the beginning that invest less than 500 euros. So it happens.
If you start early, then you can grow as your store grows. But again, it's AI, it needs data, and you perfectly explained how much data you need to get really the best results. On that note, can you share some success stories or case studies of businesses that have worked with you?
Yeah. So we have some really interesting case studies, and recently we had one here from Portugal. It's a competitor from IKEA. Okay, so home furniture, everything. So it's a high average ticket on the store, and it's one of the most famous in Portugal. They installed the app. So we had a couple of meetings with the marketing team. So it's a huge structure. It's a big company. They installed the app, and on the last 2 weeks, we are on the third week now, they have ROAS rounding 100. So in our campaign, in Clustie campaign, they have ROAS rounding 100. And the campaigns that they have running are with ROAS rounding 15 to 20. So it's insane. We spoke with the owners from the brand already, because we want, in the end of the trial, if they pass to paid client, that we believe they will. We want to build a case study in this, and we have more brands on the same vertical. So this is not single case. We have 2 more brands, one from Spain, one from the US, also from the same vertical, also having this kind of results. Super interesting. At the same time, generically, we are generating, we are reducing the customer acquisition cost in 30% with most of the brands that we keep working with, and increasing the average order value, by consequence, increasing the ROAS. And this is simple because this is A/B testing. So with our clients, they usually split the budget on a campaign that they have active, and they see the results that they are generating with our campaign. And in the second or the third month, they change the budget completely to our campaign. Okay, so we have this kind of results. Some of them, I would say, outliers, because the results are so good that sometimes we cannot believe that is happening. And on these cases, what we do, because we have an R&D team fully focused, we are mad about the numbers. So in the company, everyone needs to know free to paid ratio, churn rate, customer acquisition cost, lifetime value. So all these figures needs to be clear for everyone working here. And when an outlier case like this one appears, we need to understand what happened, because probably we have something that, if we understand what made us generate 100 ROAS in that campaign, using the same creatives, using the same copies, the same campaign, the only thing that is different is the audience generated by our product. Maybe we can find the perfect ICP from our solution. So that's the work that we are developing. We have a huge variety of clients today. So we are working with around 70 brands already on the Clustie SaaS stream. They are split in between Portugal, Spain, US mainly, but we have also other countries around the world. And we are fully focused in growing this. So I believe that we finally, in the startup lifetime, we finally reached the moment where we are ready to scale. So we were navigating, we were understanding what to do. We were an agency, we built a product, we found the best team to be here. And now we have something that really works, that the market is buying, and now we need to scale. So now the biggest challenge that we have today is to scale, is the top of the funnel that we need to enrich. So the trials that we need to generate, because after the trial being generated, the process is incredible. So 70% free to paid. We have the platform since December, so 9 months executing. Lifetime value growing every month. Churn rate going already under 10%. So the things are going really well, but we are struggling on generating new trials, and that's what we need to do. And that's also why we are here having this conversation.
I think you have one big advantage, and that shows the expertise that you have. It's not you're a software developer. You're coming from the market. You're coming from the expertise of running an agency for many years. So you totally understand how e-commerce works, how DTC works, and what marketers are looking for. And just with this experience and the AI of Clustie, bringing this together, I think this is a massive synergy effect that you're providing there to the market. And the product itself is good and growing quickly, and your customers actually show this with these massive results that you just mentioned. So is there anything, you mentioned the price structure, so that's very, very straightforward. There is a trial. I think that's a no-brainer to go for this. Anything you want to share with the listeners that we haven't touched on?
Yes, I think that there is something really interesting that we are testing right now. It's our referral program. Okay, why? Because we have two major channels to grow: direct to the brands, so one-on-one, or go to marketing agencies, Shopify agencies, and reach 100 brands with one conversation. So we saw that this is an opportunity. We started talking with marketing agencies from Portugal, from Spain, from the US, and we were able to start some trials with some of the marketing agencies. They started one trial, then the second, then the third. So there is scalability. So we built internally, and we are making the first test, a referral program. Okay, so we have a tool, simple tool. So if you refer a client, you will receive your fee monthly. And we are on this phase of the referral program, we will focus on marketing and Shopify agencies. So something really interesting. And if we have listeners that are part of marketing and Shopify agencies, they can reach us, because we are testing this referral program. because in the end, we know that we are added value for the marketing agencies, because some of them are receiving based on rev share. So they have brands that are paying them based on the success of the campaigns that the marketing agency is executing. So they are able to, if they're able to use Clustie, probably they will multiply what they are having from the brands. At the same time, they will have a fee for each customer that installs Clustie. And on the Shopify agency side, we want to be in the tech stack that the agency identifies as higher value apps for a Shopify store. So this is pure advantage to the brand. So the Shopify agency is providing this kind of insights to the brands that are working with them, and at the same time they will receive some money for referring our solution. This is a simple refer a friend tool, but something that we saw that we needed to have. So that's why we are testing it. So I make this appeal: if someone is listening on the marketing side, of agency side, talk to me, send a message to us on LinkedIn, send us an email, go to our website and see the channels to get in contact, because we are really interesting.
I know for a fact that there are a lot of listeners from marketing agency and Shopify agency are listening to the show. So a good chance that people will reach out to you. On that note, where can people go and find out more about Clustie.ai?
Yeah, Clustie AI, Clustie.ai is our website. You have everything there. So when we launched Clustie, we kept Full Venue, the mother company, and we launched Clustie, the product. This was in between December 2025 and August 2026. So last week, we fully rebranded our solution. So you won't find Full Venue AI anymore. You will just find Clustie AI. You will find Clustie on Instagram, Clustie AI on Instagram. You will find Clustie AI on LinkedIn. So you can reach us from any of these channels. And at the same time, if you are an agency or a brand and you want to see if what we are talking about here is true without talking with us, you can go to Shopify App Store. You will see all the ratings that we have there, all the evaluations, a lot of comments from our users. You can install the app in 10 minutes, see the thing happening. Probably in 5 days, you have the time to value already being generated, and you can talk with us next. So we'll leave it on the user side to decide if they want to reach us or if they want to install and reach us after that.
Perfect. I will put the links in the show notes as always. Then you're just one click away. Tiago, thanks so much for your time today. I think that's a great tool that you have built there, which will help a lot of retailers out there to fight Meta for the better and get more ROAS out of their business. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Klaus. It was a pleasure to be here again. Thank you.